it like? Now, if you speak Doric, and you use this soon, apparently, other Doric speakers, they're gonna like and follow you. And that's a good job, really, 'cause nobody else kens what the hell you're speaking about.
Oh, well, there's the TikTok man, Paul Hourston from Pitmedden,
Yep.
a stonemason, widely known as the Doric Dad on TikTok. Would I be right, Paul, in saying that?
Right. Yeah.
Paul, you have got 7,900 followers on TikTok.
Yes.
My
I was hoping to give you good news today. I'm close to 8,000, but I just haven't managed to break through here yet.
Sure you will.
Uh,
Paul, for us oldies, right? Right? Could you tell us, Paul, what is TikTok? What is TikTok?
It's a bit like YouTube. Everybody just makes their own little wee videos, post them on there. You've got a maximum of 60 seconds for your videos. A lot of the videos are even as short as just 15 seconds. So, I mean, there's a lot of random stuff on there. I basically just kind of stick to the Scottish stuff. And to me, it's interesting stuff. Kind of it's all about the Scottish language. I'm actually been tempted by some of some of my friends that I've made on TikTok. They do a lot of Monroes and stuff like that. So I'm keen to crack a Monroe this year. So we'll see.
Well, you're very impressive, Paul, I may say, because it's not easy to go onto a platform like TikTok and just be your natural self and just come out with things that make people laugh. That it's very entertainable.
Yeah.
Paul, how did you get on? How did you first of all get onto TikTok?
Well, it was back. I think it was last February. My daughter, she wanted the app because all of her friends had it. And, well, I just went on just to kind of suss it out before I let her on it. And I just started watching it, and there was funny ones. There was ones about the Scottish countryside. There was just everything. So I mean, I just started up my own page, and for a start, I was just like putting videos of my cat, and just silly little videos. A lot of stuff that goes on in TikTok. There's a lot of miming involved. There'll be like a clip from a movie or something like that, and people will do their own little wee videos to the sound. That's kind of the stuff that I started off doing. But then Doric Dad came off.
How did you get the handle of Doric Dad? Now, do tell us, Paul.
Well, I wasn't actually my handle wasn't Doric Dad for a start. I just used my cat's name just because I didn't think I was going to be doing anything with it. So Doric Dad. There's a guy who does a lot of Scottish stuff, and he was doing it was like a wee quiz kind of thing, and it was like Scottish words, and he would say, "Oh, give me the description of these words in English," sort of thing, and I just thought, "Oh, I wonder if we could do something with Doric words." So I just started off basic, kind of like loons and quines and fit like and who's your do's and the basic kind of terms that everybody knows and loves, and it just kind of grew and grew from there. That's about it. That's how it started.
Well, Paul, I just think it's, from a stonemason that works outside to get to where you are on a platform with 8,000 people following you because of your Doric. I think it's It's absolutely great, Paul. What do you think folk find appealing about your specific Doric approach, Paul?
I don't know. I think folk are just happy to hear the Doric on screen. Like I said, when I first started on TikTok, there was nobody speaking Doric. It was Glasgow, Edinburgh, a few guys from over the west coast, like Inverness, McWilliam kind of way. But no Doric at all. So I think it was just because it was something different. I mean, most of my followers are from this area, but I would say maybe about a quarter of my followers are from out and about, because a lot of them struggle with some of the words that I say, like, so. But no, it's all good fun. Like, I mean, as with every social media, there's a couple of like trolls that tuck and mick out you, but you just block them and tell them to jog on.
That's it. Paul, I could listen to you all night. It's just, you know what it is? It's your accent. You know, people with an accent, people that can sort of present themselves in in an engaging manner. I just think that is great, because that's what we need, especially in this time when we're in this pandemic, Paul, when people are looking to engage and to be uplifted slightly away from the humdrum things that's going on just now. Paul, you started a thing, and that was the Doric word of the day. Can you give us an example of your Doric word of the day?
Well, I mean, it's nothing fancy about it. Well, today's word of the day was actually buraki.
Ah.
And that ties in with someone else I'll tell you about in a minute as well. But I'll just go on. I'll say hello, or fit like. I'll just say something about my day. And as today it was half a frosty day, so you just say a couple of sentences and then lead into the word of the day, and then you get folk putting their comments on it, saying what they think it is. Most of the time, everybody gets it right, but on the odd occasion, you get a few folk that doesn't ken what it is. You get on TikTok, what you get is duets, which is I would post my video on, and then somebody else can post a video alongside mine. So it's like they're reacting to what I've done, and then they post that up. So I mean, it's quite interacting.
That's what I liked. That's what I liked about it, Paul, because it is interactive. Because being an older person as I am, Paul, I struggle with Facebook. And I mean, if it wasn't for Gordon, we wouldn't have the Doric TV domain, or my Doric or the Doric Future website. And when I think about Instagram, I think, oh, I've barely got Facebook. I have to think about Instagram. And all of a sudden we think, oh, wait a minute, there's something overtaken Instagram, and it's called TikTok. And you went, wow, blimey, where's all this coming from, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how quickly it's gone up. I actually saw something today that said that TikTok users have overtaken Facebook users with the amount that they're on the app. So and I think it's catching up with YouTube as well. So it's fairly coming on, like.
Well, I tried. I connected onto TikTok, didn't I, Paul? Me at the age of 60. I was petrified. I pressed the wrong button, but we had a go. And I even had a split screen thing going with the Doric Dad, and I thought it was brilliant. Paul, how did you think I fared for a first shotty?
Well, for the first shotty, you were braver than me. I mean, like I said, my first couple of videos, it was just my cat, and it was just until I kind of got used to all the fancy software and stuff that's on there. I mean, there's filters on it that you can use to get rid of your wrinkles in your eyes, and it's amazing. Some of the things that's on there that you can do. and like you've got your green screen, so like, you can change your backgrounds and stuff like that. And, it's
You know what I like about it, Paul, is that you can give a snippet. It's a minute, isn't it? A minute.
yeah.
It's a minute. You can give a snippet of a minute of your day, and you can put it out there for people. And I mean, I'm quite fascinated, Paul. I've thought you are a stonemason and that you work outdoors, and all of a sudden you'll have something comes into your mind, and you think, I can project that out there. I've just thought of something funny. I'll project it out there and see what happens. Now that is an ability, Paul, because I don't have that quick wittedness to do that.
I don't even. It's
I do.
like you say. It's just I work by myself. My only company's my radio most days, so I'm just in my own thoughts, sort of thing, and just. Like you say, just something will pop into my head, and I'll just kind of try and work it out how to get around it. There is a Tik Tok trend thing that's going around just now, and it was it's a sound that everybody's using, and it was it's if you're Scottish and you're on Scottish TikTok, if you use this sound, other Scottish people will follow you and like your content. So I went on and I made my own sound saying, if you speak Doric and you're on TikTok and you're on Doric TikTok, if you use this sound, other Doric folk will follow you and like you. And it got a big response, and I think there's a few folk used it already, like so.
And it's getting these ideas, isn't it, Paul? It's getting these ideas of how you can keep engaging with people in a humanist way, and to make light of just what's happening on round about you. And you know, I think, Paul, can we have a couple examples of what you do on TikTok? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, well, it was just one I just posted just the other day there, and it was just me standing in front of a wall, and I just had this thought that if James Bond was in Methlick and he went to the pub, would he get his martini dirrelled or barreled? I mean, I can't remember. It said like a couple of hundred folk liking it and commenting on it, and it's not a direct translation, but it's close enough to shaken or stirred. So it was quite funny. There was a joke that I picked up off of Facebook, and it was about a murder just outside 4 miles out of Mintlaw. Police are looking for new leads. It went down well as well. I mean, just kind of local kind of stuff seems to just go down a treat. Like, but another thing I did was like movie quotes. I don't know. I just kind of think about movies, and I'm a big movie fan, and you just try and think of a famous movie quote, and you just see if it'll work in Doric or not. I think the first thing that I put on there was it was fool dancing, so it was dirty dancing, and there's a famous quote in that film, and it's nobody puts baby in the corner, but when I did it, it was nobody puts a bairn in the nuke. And that went down well, and then I tried to do a few more, and they didn't quite hit the spot like the first thing did, but no, it's a good fun. There was another, if it was Forrest Gump instead of Forrest Gump, and it was there was a quote: "Gape it is as gape it does," instead of "as stupid is as stupid does." Just silly little things like that, and yeah, it's all good fun.
But Paul, it's the silly little things that make things humorous. It's the simple things that are the funniest. I always
Yeah,
think, Paul. I mean, Doric, I know you're originally your folks are originally from Orkney, Paul, and it's
yeah,
fascinating that having an Orcadian background that you are so wanting to engage in learning more Doric, and I think like a platform like TikTok allows you to do that because you're thinking all the time. Well, wait a minute.
yeah,
There's a lot of Doric words I don't know.
yeah.
How do you get around that, Paul?
Um, well, I actually, well, as my mum keeps telling me, I actually spoke Arcadian until I went to school, and then after that, that was it. She just lost me to Doric after that. Back then, I didn't know what Doric was, but it was just an Aberdonian accent again. Um, and there's nothing really that I've done about it. It's just what I've been brought up with. Working with all our guys on the building sites, learning all the Doric words for them. In fact, last year, my daughter, she was in primary 7 at Meiko Mill in Ellen, and they did a Doric class, and she was coming home telling me words that I hadn't. Until last year, I didn't even know what a bubbly jock was.
Probably joke. But Paul, I think it's great. You're a younger generation, I may say. You are a younger generation and very enthusiastic about presenting the way that you speak in an ordinary fashion, and what more
Yeah,
ordinary can you get than just when you're out in your ordinary everyday life, you're going to book in your van and all of a sudden you're engaging with, a possible how many thousand people at one time because,
yeah,
if they're looking at TikTok. And I just think it's great because it's a dialect like any dialect, Paul, that would be in the throes of dying away, getting lost, getting diluted. But
yeah,
any way that we can express ourselves to keep it going in
yeah,
any form, shape, or fashion, I think is brilliant.
yeah. I mean, like I watch some of the stuff on Facebook, and it's great, but it's like your bothy ballads and your it's old stories. I mean, I love reading all the old stories, but as you say, it doesn't connect with the youngsters. Can Doric? It was getting to the stage it wasn't cool, and I think it is cool. it's, it's
And you know what, Paul? 8,000 people think it's cool, including myself.
well,
You
yeah,
know, I didn't speak Doric at the time because I moved away for a long time. As people know, I was up in Inverness for 10 years and I had to speak properly, obviously. And now I've come back to Aberdeenshire, and my parents have gone, my great grandparents have gone, and that's who, my aunties and uncles have gone. And that's who I would have engaged with, the older generation and the real Doric words.
yeah,
And I have to work hard really to remember all these words that I learnt as a bairn and grown up in the Fairham. And at one time in my life, I probably spoke Doric all the time
yeah,
in sentences. And I think what happens, and this is what happens, I think, if we're not using the words and creating sentences, is we forget how to, the words just don't come automatically. And if you try to put a sentence using all Doric words, it's just not easy to do because
yeah.
it's like a different language to some folk, isn't it, Paul?
Oh, it is. Aye. A couple of the TikToks just recently. In fact, there's an English guy, and he struggles, and he was saying how sometimes he's deliver stuff out to farms in the middle of nowhere, and he's listening on his phone, and he just nothing fits being said to him, because your typical farmer, he won't change the way he speaks.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time I don't either. I do try and speak a bit of pan loaf, as they say, when I'm on the phone to folk that didn't understand it like we do. But no, it's a shame. But I suppose with folk coming into the community as well, for out and about, it kind of dilutes it a bit, and it's kind of killing it off, unfortunately.
Well, but it's not, Paul, because I think there is I think there is a revival going on. You know, it's just that, you know, it's maybe just not evident. You know, we all live in small country places, so I mean, there's not activities going on that we're engaging in, like Doric activities. You know, and you've got to search hard. I mean, even on Facebook, I mean, there aren't very many Facebook pages that are dedicated to Doric.
No.
I know. But good on you, Paul. TikTok. I think, yeah, and I would say, Paul, just keep on going. Had gone, we are Doric on TikTok, and engaging with the youngsters, you know, in a brilliant, you know, so funny and, you know, instant way that you do it. Because that's clever stuff, Paul. You know, just to come up with something like that, Paul. Yeah. When you're going, you know, as I said, and I was thinking, Paul, you use your outdoors, don't you, a lot to get a lot of you're going to put across to your viewers, don't you?
I'm not sure. It's just if I'm somewhere nice and it's a nice view, then yeah, I mean that adds to it. But no, I mean these thoughts come into my head wherever it's no, I could be down a hole digging a drain or up on top of a roof. It's just, if the thoughts come, they just come, don't they?
I know.
In fact, I forgot to say, like when we mentioned about my Doric words of the day, I picked Burachi for today, and I started up another TikTok page, and it was so that other folk who've got like Doric content on their page, but only like one or two, could share it with other folk. So I'll see how that goes. And well, I called it the Burachi, as in group. So
perfect, Paul.
We'll see how that goes.
Well, as I say, had gone. Keep spreading the words. It can speak Doric. We don't speak every word Doric, and we don't speak it in sentences, you know, because we're not of the old school. We're a different generation, Paul. And, you know, what we only can do is keep on engaging and learning words from one another as well, Paul. I think that's a good thing, to learn words from one another.
Aye. I mean, it's kind of, like you say, you try and bring it into the modern day, but a lot of the Doric words is that to do with all-time fairmen, and they're all linked with that, and it's just trying to sift through that words that you cannot really use then, but incorporating them with modern kind of stuff, and trying to, like using the burled and dirled for shaken and starved, and it's just trying to incorporate that. It's well, my wife and my daughter bought my present the other night, and that'll keep me busy for a while, and it was like the Doric dictionary.
Perfect.
So I've been scouting through there for new words to use for my words of the day as well. So.
But you know, Paul, I think the main thing is we are in the northeast. We're in the northeast Nuke. You're a bit more inland and more coastal. You know, where we are is quite distinct in as regards as the whole of the rest of the country. You know, we have fishing, we've got farming, but we've got lots of other industries, and we've obviously got the oil is the big thing. And, you know, there's a lot of different accents and twangs coming into Aberdeenshire now. But I think, you know, we must try to keep our special culture, you know, and our background very much to the fore, Paul, because it's who we are. It's our background, you know, and it makes us different from the rest of everybody in the world. And to have a dialect, I think, is great, because it identifies us to who we are, and also to our past. And I think that's the really important thing is, and it gives us a sense of identity, and, I think that's as great to be engaging with the youngsters as you do, Paul, because it's helping them to identify with who they are just now, but also in their background.
Yeah. I mean, the majority of my followers would be, I would say, between 25 and 40. There's a few older, and there's one or two younger. I think there's a couple of young lads that they come on and they'll try and catch me with a couple of different words doing it again. Because, I mean, some of the words are different. I mean, there's different words up in Fraserburgh than there is doing in Ellen, and different words here than there is up at Keith. And everything's got their different wee twangs, and it's just interesting to hear everybody's different take on it.
A lot of people that will watch my stuff in Doric TV, and it's minimal compared to the amount of people that's watching you, Paul, simply because mine's is lengthy stuff. But I know that there's folk from I've built up folk that I know that watch it from Australia and Canada and New Zealand and whatnot, and you think, wow, but they just want to connect and hear folk from him, because they've been they've lived in this area and they've moved on, and they're homesick, Paul. And I think just to grasp that folk speaking in their own natural tongue, knowing that they kind of just jump in a plane and come back to this area just in an instant, I think it's a bit comforting for them.
Just before Christmas, I did Doric 12 Days of Christmas. I think everybody kind of got fed up. I was doing one every day, so it was just to bulk up the content sort of thing. And instead of your usual 12 Days of Christmas, I was trying to think of Doric stuff to put in it. I mean, I'll just give you the last 5. It was like, for 5 gold rings, it was 5 reed caps, 4 bubbly jocks, 3 yalla dukes, 2 cushy doos, and an all scurry sitting by the sea. There was more to it than that, but it's as much as I'll give you just now. And one of my Doric words of the day I did a while back, and it was scurry. And Jeff and Lauren for Northern Radio,
Ooh.
they played my Doric word of the day on the radio. That's my claim to fame. That's it.
That's your claim to fame. Well, there you go.
I'm happy enough doing the 1 minute sketches and stuff like that. Tik Tok, they have actually got a live feature on it as well, whereas you can just go on and just speak for forever and a day. But it's something that I haven't ventured too far into yet. I've just done a couple of that, like 1 minute at a time. It's enough for just now, like so. Well,
but 1 minute at a time, because it's what I do, Paul. Nothing is rehearsed. When I go out filming, there's nothing rehearsed, Paul. It's all spontaneous. You look at any even on YouTube nowadays. I mean, things are set up, things are rehearsed. They've got a script, and that's not spontaneous. That's not natural. But I think if you can just come up with something quite natural and it's funny and people are engaging it, I think you're doing something right there, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, most of them, I'll just come in, sit in my van at tea time, and I'll just sit my phone down the front, man, and I'll switch it on, I'll just press record, and I'll just say what I've got to do. And then while I'm having my cup of tea and my piece, I'll just type out what I've got to do and send it off, and then that's it. And it just happens in minutes.
What's your favourite Doric words or phrases? I know it's sometimes difficult when you're asked on the spot, but what is your favourite words and favourite phrases?
It's not a good word, but I just love the word clipe.
Clipe?
I don't know what it is. I mean, last year when I learned the word bubbly jock, I just thought it was brilliant. I mean, you can visualize, you can look at a turkey and just see why it's got a bubbly jock now. No, I think clipe. I don't know. There's just something about that word that just.
Well, there's no other word in the English dictionary like it. Clipe, is it? You just think it's
Yeah.
unique. How would you encourage somebody to come on and do something on TikTok? Because I know that you are up for that, aren't you? Encouraging people to come on TikTok and engage.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to get into. And like I say, 90% of the people on TikTok, they're friendly, loving folk, and they don't give you a hard time for anything that you do on there. I've drawn a line at dancing. I haven't ventured into that carry on yet, but no, I mean, it's just kind of addictive, really. It's just because it's just that 1 minute. I mean, like, if you had come to me this time last year and said that I'd be on TikTok with 7,000 odd followers, I would have like, nah. But you just start small, and it just hooks you in. It did with me anyway.
That's it, Paul. And I think, when you need something to give you that emphasis to do something, to engage in something. And I know I do that with my videos. And I mean, a year ago, I would have never thought that I would have had this Doric TV. And I thought, well, where did that come from? But I just think, if you've got something in you that you want to be able to get out and engage with people, Paul, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Yes. Paul, you remind me a wee bit. You know that chap? He's a Scottish comedian. He's a farmer, actually. It's called Jim Smith, Big Jim Smith. Have you ever seen his sketches on BBC?
I have, yeah. He's good. I like him.
I mean, he's just an ordinary chiel. He's just an ordinary chiel, Paul. Where did he come from? Fairman.
That's it.
Now, BBC have got ahead of him, and they actually do sketches on his farm, and they're absolutely hilarious. Mm-hmm. So he's used his background, his culture, and his personality, and somebody's noticed him. So there you go. But remember, Paul, if you become rich and famous, Doric Dad, remember, you were interviewed by Jill on Doric TV.
I remember my first interview.
That's it, Paul. Well, thank you, Paul. Well, if you keep spreading the word about Doric TV, I shall keep spreading the word about Doric Dad on TikTok.
Okay. I'll hate to do a TikTok about Doric TV then.
Please do, because I'm very technical, Paul. as you know. Well, Paul, it has honestly been a pleasure for me to speak to you tonight. And to know that we are moving forward. Doric is moving forward into the realms of TikTok. So It's not dying out. It's not dying out, certainly.
No. No. It's great to be able to do something that's, like you say, folk are interacting with, and help bring it back to modern times. Yeah.
And for anybody who's listening here, Paul, how do you describe what's your handle on TikTok? What are they looking for when they look up TikTok?
Well, they're just going to download the app on their phone or their tablet. I think you can actually do it on the computer, but we've got a computer, but it's never used nowadays. It's much quicker doing it on the phone or whatever. You get onto TikTok, and you would just type in Doric.dad, and you would find me.
That's it. Simple.
And that's it. Simple as that.
Well, if I found you, Paul, then there's somebody else can find you as well, Paul.
Cheers.
Paul, keep in touch. Keep the Doric going, and keep folks smiling. Bye, Paul.
Ta-da.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye.